Hello everyone, welcome to round 5 of Grand Prix Boston Worcester 2014. Rich Hagan and Hall of Famer Mr. Randy Buehler in the booth. You are looking at our main feature for this round, and it is the first ever Modern Pro Tour champion, Samuele Estrattl, who, yes, is playing Tron, and he is up against Greg Ogreenc. They're both at 4-0, and
hello.
Yeah, let's get into burn your face range at top speed. Yes.
Samuele has decided to only get burned once.
Yeah, I'll just take 4 to the head. Now, is this a deck that when you see the Vexing Devil, that you're just instantly, everything changes from Estrattl's side of the table, where it's like, okay, I have 3 turns and then I'm dead, or X turns?
He certainly knows exactly what he's up against, and it's not good news for the Tron player. I mean, the red deck can kill you pretty quick. Tron is designed to build up this incredible mana base and just do super powerful things on turn 4, turn 5, turn 6. He just has to hope he's going to get there.
Yeah, Worm Coil Engine's perfectly fine against burn, but if he can't get there...
If he gets to attack with Worm Coil Engine once, then he wins, but he may not get to.
Ah, Modern, here comes Goblin Guide.
Here we go. Yeah, there were 2 of these that won trials yesterday. There's definitely some mono red running around. Yeah, Remand. Samuele just wants to stall as much as he can, as quickly as he can.
Yep, so Remand resolves.
Now, is Estrattl in the running for World Magic Cup? Is that,
yeah,
he's here chasing points. He wants to captain the team again?
Yeah, he is tied with Andrea Mengucci, both on 27 points right now. As the Goblin Guide gets
just flat
replayed.
tied?
Yeah, they're a straight head-to-head. There are a bunch of other Italian players qualified, 9 or 10 of them, but they would need very big finishes to actually get somewhere. So Goblin Guide comes in, and Estrattl is down at 14.
Estrattl's got a couple Dismembers main that he can kill things with.
Which member?
Dismember.
Ah.
He's always got a Platinum Angel. That could change things. A Batter Skull.
Your opponents cannot win and you cannot lose the game, I believe is the exact wording on that.
The Worm Coil Engine, yeah. He needs to just very quickly access one of those cards.
Yeah.
Before Ogreenc just burns him out. Yeah, this is 4 Bump in the Night main, so he's got the black splash. He's got white too, apparently. 2 Eidolon in the Great Revel. It was 4 Eidolons in both the trial winners yesterday.
Right.
What's the white mana for? Oh, he's got a Stony Silence out of the board. He's got Boros Charm. That's what the white mana's for. Yeah, this is Lava Spike.deck. How many ways can I deal 3 to you? I only need 7. And the way the mana bases work, I may only need 5 or 6.
So is that the philosophy of Fire, essentially?
Oh, yeah.
3 per card, times 7, boom.
Done. And yeah, it is... The average Modern deck certainly will damage itself with its lands, too.
Yes.
Oh, and hey, Goblin God maybe get in for 4. Vexing Devil may deal 4.
Well, the Guide has already hit once for 2.
Yep.
The Devil has already hit for 4. So we're on track on the Ogreenc side of the table.
That land is Oboro.
Yeah, the Palace in the Clouds?
That's the one. Palace above the clouds.
Oh, above. Not even in.
Above.
Strictly superior. So here we go. Back to Greg Ogreenc. He draws for the turn.
Yeah, he's set up to kind of get Tron online next turn. He sacked his Expedition map, got 1 Tron piece, played another Expedition map, so next turn he can access the 3rd piece of the Urzatron. He'd have to tap mana to activate the Expedition map, so he may not be able to get to play a 7, but he can play a 5, potentially. I don't know if he's drawn his Batter Skull. That would certainly be quite handy here.
Is that Talisman of Dominance on top, I think, there? I think so.
Yep, there's 2 in the deck.
So Estrattl at 12. And now Ogreenc has to decide what next. He answers with Grim Lavamancer, one of Tom Lapelli's favorite cards in R&D.
Yeah, not the fastest of clocks, though.
It really isn't,
More like the long-term grindy reach.
And there's unlikely to be a window against Tron to actually have that grindy reach, because once you hit grindy reach, then it's all Tron.
Yeah, exactly.
So
not the fastest draw from Ogreenc.
I guess it'd be interesting to see what Estrattl's life total is by the time Ogreenc untaps again. Because he has 2 mana available. He still has plenty of cards. How much burn is sitting there ready to do useful things. Of course, Lava Spike doesn't get to do it end of turn.
Sorcerer speed.
Yeah.
All right, so
So, thank you very much. I would like to complete my set.
he plays that tower. He has access to 5 mana this turn.
Because Tower is the big one, right? Tower
makes
does 3.
That's right. There's the talisman.
Mhm.
So now he can have 4 mana still. It says go. Wow.
So
Neither
Ogreenc-
player with the blistering fast version of their deck.
Yeah. But that suits Estrattl more, obviously. Ogreenc will go and get a land.
Yeah, presumably this is end step.
Yeah.
Now, is he going to pay 2 life and do something with that mana, or is he just
I think we
setting
have
up?
to assume he is.
Skullcrack?
Yeah. So Estrattl will go into single figures. And now it is very much, in a way, the end game. Because Estrattl is at 9. Ogreenc has 2 that's about to attack unmolested, potentially.
Yeah, Estratt's at effective 5.
Yeah. With the Lavamancer
2
activation.
spells from Ogreenc this turn probably wins it. If Estrattl gets to untap with Tron in play, that probably wins it.
Yep, so Ogreenc doesn't care at all about his life total. Sacred Foundry comes into play untapped. Here comes the Goblin Guide. Tron piece on top for Estrattl. Thanks, I'll have that. Why not? Estrattl says sure. They pick up the pens. Estrattl is down to 7. And bump in the night, you.
Flashback on that is
It's-
more expensive than Greg can afford right now.
Yeah, Estrattl is most definitely not at 7. There we are. He's down to 4.
With a Lavamancer activation looming, so effective 2.
Yeah. And therefore an effective 0 unless Estrattl can either win or gain some life
Yeah.
in the next turn.
Or
So-
play Platinum Angel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Estrattl needs to do something right now. He doesn't kick 2. 4 versus 3, not a big, well, might be a big deal.
Yeah, so he is thirsty for some knowledge.
He's taken a pain from the talisman to cast it, which is why he's pausing and shrugging.
Oh. Do you have a burn spell to just kill me
But I mean,
outright?
4 versus 3 might sound like a big difference, but it's really 2 versus 1, which is not a difference.
Number of spells, if you like.
Life
Well,
total.
well, yeah.
I'm
just
saying that 4 is
good
an effective
Lavamancer.
3 due to the
Yes,
Lavamancer.
Sure.
So 4 versus 3 seems like it matters, but it doesn't really because it's actually 2 versus 1.
Got
It's
you.
just if Greg had a spell, he was dead anyway. No reason not to take the last point of life, get off a thirst. Hopefully Platinum Angel, if not Mindslaver. Wow. Grem Lavamancer can commit suicide.
Wow.
Can he activate? He can. So he can activate Mindslaver here. He can have the Lavamancer commit suicide. Wow. Yeah, that
I would like-
buys him a turn. At least.
That's awesome. So Greg says, sure, I'm going to Lavamancer you, obviously down to 2.
Is bump target player? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Because Greg can, but the flashback is 6 total?
Yeah, it's is it even 7? Isn't it 6 and 0? 6 and 1?
Well, he'll Lavamancer removing the bump in the night is what he'll do. So this Mindslaver answers the Lavamancer. It answers the bump in the night. It stops Goblin Guide from attacking for a turn.
yeah, 5 in red. You're right.
If he top decks a burn spell for the Goblin Guide, he could be totally in this. Well, as in it as you can be on 2.
Sure.
Isn't he on 2, not 1? I mean on 1, not 2? Talisman's a pain land, right? I think Estratt's on 1. It doesn't really matter. So this is still Greg just deciding what he's going to do in response to the Mindslaver, and yep, not much. What you got? Take control of target player's turn.
So
I haven't seen that art. Is that from the vault?
yeah, I think it is.
Oh, he gets to look at his sideboard? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. You get to look at the guy's sideboard.
And then he gets
Oh,
to see
jeez.
what's sitting there. All
Searing
of the
Blaze times
blazes.
2.
Yeah.
I think he's going to cast those. What do you think?
Well, you cast both of them at the 2 red guys, do you?
He does not get to remove Bump in the Night if he does that.
But that costs 6,
Now he does.
although the land is there.
Oh my gosh. He gets to play a land, paying the 2 life. He gets to Searing Blaze away both the creatures, and he gets to Lavamancer Greg. So he deals 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think he can deal 10 damage to Greg here. And kill both his creatures and remove Bump in the Night. He can leave him with no cards and 3 life. That's insane. What? You pay the life?
It's hard to imagine what you can do.
He didn't pay the life.
10.
How do you not pay the life and not activate the Lavamancer? To remove the Bump in the Night. He left him with Bump in the Night. Now if he top decks a land, he wins. You have to activate Lavamancer to remove Bump in the Night from the yard. Like, Greg now wins with a top deck with a land off the top. For no good reason. Oh, it's a Cliffs, not a Pain land. It's Blackcleave Cliffs.
Okay.
My bad. I thought it was, yeah. I thought it was
Meanwhile,
Blood Crypt, but it's Blackcleave
on the
Cliffs.
plus side, here's Platinum Angel for Samuele
Okay,
Estrattl.
no longer dies to a top decked land.
So now off he goes in search of... Is it another Mindslaver that he's going for? Looks like it is.
Crazy.
Yeah, 10 mana buys you quite a lot, it turns out.
Wow.
So what does Greg have that can just flat out, as a single spell, take out Platinum Angel?
Nothing.
Is everything just 3?
Yeah. I mean, everything that can be pointed at a creature. Yeah, he needs 2 spells, which Mindslaver is going to make impossible. Wow, drew the land.
So I would like to Lava Spike
No, he drew
you.
the Lava Spike, sorry.
Yeah, so that puts him down to 1.
No, it puts him at negative. But
Well,
whatever.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, you just... Platinum Angel attacks for half of Greg's life total, and now Mindslaver plus activate it. All that really means is the Platinum Angel gets to attack again. Yep.
Yeah, there's
There
a
you
Lava
go.
Spike. I'll Lava Spike myself. Thanks. And Samuel...
Mindslaver. Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, when you talk to people away from the camera at events like this, they're sort of, what are you playing, always comes in 2 flavors. There's the first bit where they kind of sigh a bit and kind of say, oh, you know, I'm just playing Tron. Or, oh, you know, I'm just playing Blue, White, Red Control. Then there's this little pause, and they look around a bit furtively and a little bit guiltily, and then they say, and I'm playing a couple of, and then come up with a card name that you remember from 2006 that no one's played since in any format ever. And like, oh, okay, really? And obviously, Soul Artifact is the latest version of that card that we saw in round 4. You got to see on camera. Was it on air for about 3 seconds?
Yeah, and then the creature it was attached to got abrupt decayed, just like everyone feared.
In a red hot 2 for 1 bit of action.
Yeah, it was also wearing a cranial plating, so it was like 2.5 for 1. It was the only creature.
Well, that man looks very angry. We are very excited because Pro Tour Magic 2015 is coming your way August 1 through 3, 2014 in Portland, Oregon. That is right on this continent, the United States of America. You'll see standard, you'll see 6 rounds of Magic 2015. You will see 4 players draft because we will make sure that we show you 2 drafts on both Friday and Saturday. You can get involved. We'll be showing hundreds of your tweets across the weekend at the hashtag PTM15. Which is quite a good hashtag, really, because that stands for Pro Tour Magic 2015.
Sorry, what were you saying? I was back on Twitter again.
Nothing. Meanwhile,
Jeremy
let's
Desani.
get a live look in at a match that I would imagine is not 0-0, because otherwise they've had a really long deck tech.
Could have been a super long deck check.
Could have done.
Seems more likely.
But
yeah, it was.
There we go.
Okay.
It's Bradley Pierre. By the way, Bradley Pierre is on the other side of the screen as you look. Jeremy Desani on the right in his distinctive attire. Bradley Pierre 1 up over the man who leads the Player of the Year race right now by 1 point from Reed Duke. Reed Duke not here this weekend, decided to test. Oh, well, maybe not even decided to test.
Was told.
Was informed that he would be testing this weekend with the rest of the Pantheon. There is a Tarmogoyf for Jeremy Desani. who in a shocking turn of events has found a format where the colours red, green and black are legal and has therefore turned up with a red, green and black deck. The parallels between him and Reed are actually quite scary in a lot of ways, and Jund is very definitely one of them. The way that they just go, yeah, it gives me so much play, a chance to be better than all my opponents. I never give free wins away. I never get free wins. I just play Magic and play it better than people. And so Jund is a great choice all the time, no matter what. And, you know, can't really argue with the results. Bradley Pierre is going to run out a very pretty Restoration Angel.
All right, so he is on the blue-white-red control version with the Kiki pod finish.
Yep.
We came up with a good name for that in Minneapolis, didn't we? Kiki control, I think we were calling it.
Yeah.
It's essentially McLaren's Pro Tour winning deck list, but updated to have a combo finish instead of a slow, grindy finish.
Sure. Boo.
Dazani takes out the path, not the Kiki Chiki.
Yep.
Guess there's how many red mana down there? 2? So red mana off the top is just lethal, right? Since he dropped that Restoration Angel into play. It's kind of a scary Thoughtseize choice if he doesn't. What does he have to bust that up?
The number of times this year I have sat and watched an overhead shot with that left hand of Dazani on his fevered brow, going, I'm in deep trouble here. How do I get out of it? I'm not sure he does get out of it.
Well, Bradley has to draw land off the top.
Sure.
Red land specifically.
So Dazani looks at his options, but with 2 mana, not a lot of time, and no games to give.
I assume he won round 4? Oh, that's, of course, Tech Edge. Now his play seems way safer.
So Bradley now looks for more in the land department. Attacks with his Restoration Angel.
I like this line from Dazani. The path to X, I mean, it was red land off the top, so he needed to use that Tech Edge main phase or he was just dead. Kiki Chiki plus Restoration Angel is just infinite flying hasty angels.
That sounds quite good.
It is pretty good, yeah. Kiki Chiki makes a copy of the Angel, which chooses to remove Kiki Chiki from the game, which comes back untapped immediately after, which makes another copy of the Angel. Repeat, lather, rinse, and another Thoughtseize.
Meanwhile, these guys are ready to get it on in Game 2. Greg Ogreenc, who you caught a glimpse of there on the far side of the table, the right of the screen as you now look, will face off against Samuele Estrattl, and the old turn 1-3 to the face did not occur from Greg Ogreenc. Meanwhile, Expedition map... Oh, it did? Oh, there we are.
Bump in the night in the graveyard.
Fine, didn't spot that. Yep, so that's all right. Because otherwise that would have been a slow start. And then go away Expedition map.
Smash to smithereens.
It has been smithereened.
Take 3 and no Estrattl part searching for you.
Yes.
Wow, I mean, it's probably in the sideboard for Affinity, but it's really good here, too.
Yeah, turns out that artifact searchers die to artifact kill. Who knew? So, I would like to suspend a Riftbolt. Oh, happy days. Love that card. Sacred Foundry will come in untapped. Life total is very much a resource. Oh, I'm just going to pass the turn with this 2 mana
I'm sure he's got
up.
nothing.
He
paid 2 life for fun.
That's right. Just to show
nothing.
he didn't care. Estrattl passes the turn.
Skullcrack.
Yeah, let's have you lose some more life. Estrattl down to 11. And this time, Ogreenc is doing what he wanted. Riftbolt will unsuspend. And now, Estrattl has something to think about. There's the possibility of remand. Potentially, does he have things like... Yeah, he has negate coming in. And that's what we're going to see here. Staple in M15, of course. Do you think people will play negate in M15 limited at the PT?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, Triplicate Spirits is so good. Like, arguably the best common in the whole set. So
sure.
I definitely have run into my share of negates already.
Boros Charm from Ogreenc puts Estrattl down to 7. This is going to be quick. Estrattl passes the turn. And Ogreenc has not moved and just untaps. Okay.
Yeah, losing his expedition map meant he's one piece of the Urzatron away, but he lost the ability to go search for it. That was definitely a big deal.
Goblin Guide. Can't negate that.
No.
In it comes.
Condescend.
Yep, not getting that for free. Estrattl is going to do something. Wow.
Oh, jeez, that's painful.
Really? That
I
was
mean,
like pay for and go.
Well, he was paying 2 anyway. It's
three.
like he only paid 2.
Sure.
He's losing the 2 life anyway, so the
Yeah.
decision there is really, am I willing to pay 2? And he's going to take 2 next turn, so not happy to be at 3, but what are you going to do? Yeah. Ogreenc is looking for bump in the night. He's 1 land away from flashing back the bump,
End of turn thirst.
although he knows about a condescend.
Yeah.
Greg's out of cards, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, he was 5 land, 6 spell this game, but the 6 spells would have done 20 if it wasn't for that pesky negate.
Ah. The joy of counter magic.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, you do. My hero. So Estrattl passes again.
We know he's got a condescend, and Greg knows he has a condescend. So land off the top for the flashback of Bump in the Night is not good enough by itself.
Could you just talk me through why not cracking the Arid Mesa?
Sure.
At end of turn? What's the thinking there?
The thinking is he wants the 6th land because he wants to be able to play the flashback cost on Bump of the Night. If he cracks his fetch land, then there's 1 less land in his library to draw. So I think as soon as he gets number 6, then he's done drawing lands. Then he's got all that he could ever want. Then he'll crack the fetch lands because he'll sort of switch agendas. Then he just wants to draw spells. But that's what's going on.
Because that's obviously what I was going to ask, that surely if he cracks that and goes and gets 1 more land out of his deck, then he's just drawing more spells.
Well, except right now lands are good. The other reason to keep fetch lands in play is that he plays Searing Blaze, which has landfall to deal 3 damage versus 1. Now, maybe he took the Searing Blaze out of his deck because there aren't many creatures to point at them at. In fact, he probably did, but
sure.
That's another reason why you'll often see.
Think.
It's another reason you'll often see these decks leave an uncracked fetch land in play, is so that they have the ability to trigger the landfall on a Searing Blaze. Well, all right, I guess he's done.
1 and 2 are going away.
He's decided he's done. He now wants spells rather than land for whatever reason.
So Ogreenc, who has a Grand Prix top 8 this year, I do believe.
Yeah, he's one of the regulars on the North American Grand Prix circuit. We see him a lot. Often on day 2.
Baltimore, I think, was top 8 there. The kind of person who, a couple of years back, we would have been saying, one of the big new hopes for American Magic, but the bar right now is very high.
True dat. He's thinking upkeep here? I didn't see him draw a card.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know what he has to think about on his upkeep.
Yeah, he drew.
Okay.
He had 1 and then went up
My
to,
bad.
to
I
this.
just missed it.
So here's Goblin Guide, which is accepted and gets to attack. Expedition map is on top. Estrattl.
Lets the trigger happen and then goes for the repeal.
Yeah.
So Estrattl doesn't want to go from 3 down to 1.
But did want the chance to have a bonus card.
Precisely.
Eat.
Greg is trying to decide whether to respond to the repeal. Can't imagine that anything he could use to kill his own Goblin Guide, A, means he's down the Goblin Guide, B, wasn't he pointing that at Estrattl's face?
Maybe it's just checking things through.
He knows he's still facing a Condescend. He could play Goblin Guide here and, in theory, pay for the Condescend.
Huh.
Which is probably what he's going to do. And now I don't know what the last card is.
No, Estrattl says okay.
I mean, whatever it was would have been vulnerable to Condescend, so
Yeah.
if he's going to play into Condescend, he should do it on Estratt's turn. Can, like, end step, play something to get countered, untap, bump. Well, untap, top deck land.
Yeah,
bump.
sure.
Could also be that that card is the 6th land.
I love that a format has a deck like Burn in it, because I find these sort of matchups super interesting, because you actually, there is a kind of visceral feeling of being at 3 against a Burn deck that a lot of other Magic doesn't, an itch it doesn't quite scratch. There's something kind of, okay, I have my islands, I have my Tron, but you could just kill me. And
Well, it doesn't have, he has the Tron now.
Right.
You know, I totally know what you mean, though. I'm glad it's not the best deck, but
Yes.
having it floating around, you know, tier 2.5, feels pretty good.
Yeah, you said there were a couple of mono red trial winning lists.
2 trial winners yesterday with this same basic strategy. Not this list exactly, but same basic strategy.
Expedition map goes away.
Yeah, he'll go get the 3rd piece of the Tron now. So that is, those 4 lands are actually 7 mana.
I can't believe I went, like that's completely fair and normal. Well, in Modern it is.
I definitely appreciate the original Antiquities versions of the Urza pieces too.
Yeah.
Although maybe those are like Italian Renaissance? They might be Italian Renaissance.
Well, given who's playing it,
Yeah, I can't-
entirely plausible.
I can't read I can't quite see the text to see what language it's in. They're clearly black bordered and original art.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was an Italian Renaissance printing. Essentially the European version of Chronicles. The American Chronicles versions are all white bordered, ugly pieces of... Yes, sorry, I shouldn't bemoan
No,
the
that's
product,
okay.
right?
I'm pretty sure I got a booster of Italian Renaissance when I signed up to the DCI.
Nice.
Yeah, that was one of the welcome gifts.
All right, Free Island. You going down to 1 this time?
Estrattl goes into Dizani mode. He's another head holder.
He is in fact going down to 1. Fetch land from Ogreenc, so he does have the 6th land.
And then 6, bump.
Should run into a Condescend.
One would hope. So Estrattl down to 1 off the Goblin Guide. And now waiting to see whether bump puts him to -2, which this time would be lethal because there's no Platinum,
No Platinum
Angel.
Angels this time. What's Estrattl thinking about?
Does he have multiple counters?
You still
And
spend the
just
one
like-
your opponent knows about, right? Condescend's also the most mana intensive one, and it's a 6 mana spell. Like, I don't know what he would be thinking about other than Condescend.
Yeah. That's where he gets to. So bump is gone.
A Talisman, and what's the blue spell? Is that a Fabricate? Treasure Mage? Does he play that?
Yeah,
He
he
plays
does.
Treasure Mage. That's what that was. Awesome. Treasure Mage, which can block Goblin Guide,
Yeah.
can fetch, what, Platinum Angel? Mindslaver, he decides.
Uh-huh. Is this going to be the perfect scenario of a break supply just in time again?
It's pretty impressive. Yeah, oh, he's even got Condescend up.
For one of his top 8s, Dizani defeated Estrattl in the win and in for day 2
Okay.
at 6 and 2. Unsurprisingly, that was a feature match in our last round.
Wow. Mindslaver got there again. How about that? Samuele Estrattl.
Yeah,
Ogreenc's
like,
laughing about it. He probably hasn't lost 2 matches to Mindslaver in a while, especially with the mono red burn deck.
Wow.
Got him to 1 both games.
So Samuele Estrattl, as Randy mentioned earlier, is currently tied for the lead in the Italian World Magic Cup race. That's with Andrea Mengucci. We're going to have a look at someone who currently leads the Player of the Year race. It's now 1-1 in Jeremy Desani on the right of your screen against Bradley Pierre.
Well, I thought Pierre was, we called him Blue, White, Red Control. We called him Kiki Control. He's Kiki Pod.
Right.
Not Kiki Control.
Okay.
That makes more sense. He just happened to have drawn both the angel and the Kiki Jiki.
Do you know what the thinking is between Kiki Pod and Melira Pod? What the kind of two camps are in terms of why?
The Melira Pod deck is a little more consistent. It has slightly better lands, and it's a little better in the games where you don't draw the Birthing Pod. The Kiki Pod deck is more explosive. Like, if it gets a pod, it can combo kill out of nowhere. You need, like, a 2-drop, 3 mana, and a pod, and you can just go all the way up the chain to get the Kiki Jiki and the Angel. They've got, like, a Phantasmal Image hiding in there. You know, the Deceiver Exarch just to untap the Birthing Pod. Like, you can go off out of nowhere.
So it's almost philosophical. It's like, do you like to play slightly more consistent mana, be in more games, be safer, reliably work your way through 2 days, or do you want to get a little bit streaky and kill people from nowhere?
Yeah, it's... The other thing that's relevant is the Kiki Pod has the edge in the mirror. Because it's faster. It's more explosive combo-wise. So if they both go at it, in the draws where they both have a pod, the Kiki Pod player is faster. And he just wins.
And that looks to me like Jeremy Desani has just taken the match. He had double Tarmogoyf, which late in the game was going to be pretty big. Had a Scavenging Ooze going as well. Avon Mind Sensor was on board, and the Noble Hierarch that we saw Bradley Pierre play at the back end there, not sufficient. So Jeremy Desani wins again. That's 2-0. And the thing is, as far as Reed Duke is concerned, who is his main rival for Player of the Year,